Lewis Hamilton has just dropped one of his most alarming remarks since making the switch to Ferrari, and it reveals just how tough things have become with the SF-25. Following another troubled Friday at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, the seven-time world champion admitted he's having such a hard time with the car that he's uncertain whether he can even reach Q3. Yes, you heard that right. Hamilton, one of the most accomplished drivers in F1 history, is questioning whether his Ferrari has enough pace to break into the top 10. This goes far beyond just a bad practice. It highlights a car that refuses to respond, updates that continue to underperform, and a legend of the sport who looks increasingly frustrated and out of options. His words sent shockwaves through the paddock. Because if Hamilton can't unlock the performance of this machine soon, the 2025 campaign could turn into a nightmare season for Ferrari. In today's video, we're breaking down exactly what Lewis said, analyzing what's not working with the SF-25, revealing Ferrari's internal reactions, and asking the critical question: could this weekend mark the unraveling of their season, or the start of a much-needed turnaround? Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and stick around till the end for all the details. And if you're hungry for even more F1 content, including raw opinions and stories the mainstream media won't touch, check out my second channel link below and hit that subscribe button there too. Now let's dive in. Practice sessions have wrapped in Jeddah, and it's been anything but encouraging for Hamilton and the Scuderia. After securing P8 in FP1, there was a glimmer of hope. But that optimism quickly vanished when Hamilton slumped to 13th by the end of FP2, the more telling session in terms of qualifying and race potential. That's right, 13th place in a Ferrari that, not long ago, was being hyped as a potential championship contender. Then came the quote. When asked whether he could find improvements by Saturday, Hamilton didn't sugarcoat it. He skipped the PR lines. His reply was blunt and sobering. Normally Saturday goes backwards, but there's not a lot of backwards to go from here. It's the kind of statement that stops you cold. A seven-time world champion effectively saying it can't get worse because he's already near rock bottom. It's raw, honest, and deeply concerning for Ferrari fans who had hoped this would be the race where things began to click. So what's actually going wrong? First and foremost, the tires. Hamilton pointed out that the core issue isn't the team itself. It's that the car can't get the tires working. And in Jeddah, tire warm-up and grip are absolutely everything. The fast, flowing circuit lacks the kind of corners that naturally build heat into the tires. Instead, drivers need setup precision, balance, and feel. And right now, Hamilton says he has none of it. He noted that there were a few encouraging signs, brief moments where the car felt promising on the harder compounds. But as soon as the soft tires were bolted on, everything unraveled. The grip disappeared, the balance was gone, and so was his confidence. And at a track like Jeddah, where razor-sharp precision is non-negotiable, that's a recipe for disaster. Adding to the frustration is the fact that despite a wave of upgrades, Ferrari still hasn't unlocked the true potential of the SF-25. A new floor was introduced with hopes of widening the car's performance window by up to 30%, according to internal simulations. But those theoretical gains are nowhere to be found in Saudi Arabia. Both Charles Leclerc and Hamilton have been running completely different setups throughout practice, aiming to collect as much data as possible. Charles took one direction, Hamilton another. But now, Hamilton has openly admitted, it's probably time to align and unify the setups to find something that works. That admission carries weight, because it also means that after 5 full race weekends, Ferrari still doesn't have a definitive baseline setup. And for a team that entered 2025 with championship goals, that's a major red flag. So what's the outlook heading into qualifying? When asked, Hamilton gave a short and telling response. I don't know, mate. I'm just trying to get into the top 10. Let that sink in. Lewis Hamilton, the most decorated driver in the history of Formula One, hoping he can just squeeze into Q3. It's a brutally honest reflection of just how far Ferrari still has to climb. Now let's step back and examine why this is such a big deal. This isn't just about one-off day. It's about the broader themes of momentum, confidence, and development trajectory. Jeddah, with its smooth tarmac and low degradation, was supposed to suit Ferrari's car. It was their chance to show that Bahrain's struggles were an exception, that their updates were actually working. Instead, this weekend has reinforced a harsh truth. all the potential in the world means nothing if you can't turn it into results. And for Hamilton, the adjustment period is becoming more and more critical. He's learning a brand new car philosophy, different brakes, different electronics, a completely new operating system. But there's only so long you can lean on adaptation as an excuse. Eventually, the results have to match the effort. And right now, they're miles apart. So where does this leave Hamilton and Ferrari going into Saturday? It's not just about qualifying anymore. It's about trust. It's about whether the most legendary team in F1 can deliver on the huge promise they made when they signed one of the sport's greatest icons. That promise is under intense scrutiny. And what happens next could shape not only this race weekend, but Ferrari's entire 2025 campaign. Hamilton's statements aren't just the complaints of a frustrated racer. They're the reflections of a champion who knows what winning demands, and who's starting to realize the equipment he's been given isn't good enough. He's admitted that Ferrari tends to slip backwards on Saturdays. He's struggling to get the tires into the right window. And even with overnight setup changes in the works, he's clearly not convinced that reaching Q3 is even realistic. For someone of Hamilton's caliber, that's not just concerning. It's a glaring warning light for the entire Ferrari organization. Meanwhile, the gap to teammate Charles Leclerc is widening. Leclerc looks settled. He knows this car. He's maximizing its performance. And while Hamilton is still figuring out the feel of the brakes, adjusting to the throttle map, and testing various setup tweaks, Leclerc is steadily building momentum. The internal balance within the garage is already shifting. And if Ferrari doesn't manage the situation carefully, they could be looking at a very uncomfortable power struggle between their two drivers. And we can't ignore the big picture here. Hamilton didn't come to Ferrari to fight for scraps in the midfield. He didn't make this high-profile move to barely crack the top 10. He joined the Scuderia to win races, compete for championships, and chase that elusive 8th world title to make history in red. But if the SF-25 continues to fall short, if this so-called new chapter feels like a continuation of Ferrari's long-standing struggles, then the questions won't just be about one bad qualifying. They'll be about whether this entire project has already veered off course. Let's remember, Ferrari hasn't won a driver's title since 2007. They've gone through endless managerial changes, car concepts, promises of revival, and yet, the narrative stays the same. Now, with Hamilton on board, the stakes are higher than ever. So is the scrutiny. Because if this partnership doesn't work, it won't be viewed as just another down year. It'll be remembered as a monumental missed opportunity. So all eyes turn to Saturday. Can Ferrari give Hamilton a car he can finally trust? Can they stop the bleeding and start building some momentum before this season slips away entirely? Or will this become yet another story of a great driver and a great team failing to sync? Let us know what you think in the comments. Are we watching the first steps of a remarkable turnaround, or the signs of a campaign that's already losing control? Can Hamilton still adapt in time, or has Ferrari already let him down? If you've made it this far, thank you for sticking with us. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you haven't already, check out my second F1 channel linked in the description, where we're dropping even more exclusive insights and deep dive content throughout the 2025 season. Because what's happening right now with Hamilton and Ferrari, it's not just a story, it's a pivotal moment. And whether it ends in glory or disappointment, we're going to cover every moment of it.